cases as medical physicists, we delve much into radiotherapy practice, nuclear medicine, okay, and also other form of treatment like chemotherapy. We talk of radiosurgery and so on. But now we don't educate the general public on cancer awareness and prevention. And that's what has made me to come up with this topic. So under this topic, there are some of the learning objectives that I'm going to cover. Let's recognize the impact of cancer on individuals and society, including its physical, emotional, and economical consequences. My first objective, and then discuss the origin and the nature of cancer. Is a disease, identify the genetic factors, hereditary conditions that increase the risk of developing cancer, evaluate the impact of lifestyle choices such as diet, exercise, and substance use on cancer risks, and lastly, explain the benefits and limitation of cancer screening programs. So in my first lecture, I'll look at the basics, understanding the basics. So what is cancer? When you talk about cancer, so cancer refers to a group of disease characterized by uncontrolled cell divisions and growth in the body. And this one normally takes place, especially when the DNA is damaged or maybe the bases within the DNA are interfered with. So it normally leads to uncontrolled cell division. Remember, it is the DNA that controls all the activities within the cell. So if it is damaged, then it means that the cell won't function properly. So often due to malfunction of normal body controls, with all cells becoming immortal rather than dying off. You see, the all cells are normally get rid of. So if they become immortal, it becomes dangerous, leading to tumorous masses in the tissue that eventually form tumors. So cancer cells form malignant tumors, and you can see the diagram there shows how cancer cells attack the normal cells, and therefore they form a tumor. So it takes about 10 raised to power 9 cells to make 1 cubic centimeter of tumor. God. Okay, so we have benign tumors, you have malignant ones. So the benign one, they usually don't spread to other parts of the body. Like let's say if they attack the lungs, then later on we realize it is in the cervix and so on. So they don't spread. So they are usually being removed safely and without much harm being caused to them or to others. So when you talk of malignant ones, these ones, they invade nearby tissues before spreading via the blood and the lymphatic system. So it is via the blood circulation that the malignant ones normally spread, either through blood circulation or through the lymphatic system, lymphatic vessels, because they normally carry the body fluid to distant parts. So when we speak about cancer, we typically refer to malignant ones, of course. So the cancer is a disease. It is a disease, yes, which some of the cells of the body begin to grow in an uncontrollable and organized way. On the other hand, tumor is a lump of a tissue, okay? And tumors can either be benign, at the same time they can also be malignant. So the benign ones are the ones that cannot spread, but the malignant ones do spread. So cancer can start almost anywhere in the human body. That's what you need also to understand. While the benign tumor do not invade other nearby tissues or less likely to grow back. So the cancer cells, they normally grow together and then they form what is called now the malignant tumor, while the malignant tumor can spread to other parts of the body, meaning they can metastasize. So the origin of cancer. So we know that the human cell comprises of trillions. There are trillions in our body. So each serving a specific function and living for a specific amount of time or duration. So cells normally grow or divide to produce new ones and die in an orderly fashion, something which is normally governed by the DNA within each of the cells. Okay, so when a DNA becomes damaged or changed, then cells may start growing uncontrollably and even turn malignant, eventually becoming what is called the tumorous growth. Remember, it is the DNA that I said controls most of the activity within the cell. Therefore, if it is damaged, then we'll have a malfunction. So cancer can arise in virtually any cell in the body, and its initial location, which is normally called the primary site of the primary cancer, is called its origin site or primary cancer. So should cancer cell break off and form a new tumor elsewhere in your body, then we refer to it as secondary or metastatic cancer, which normally emerge, and these one normally bring potential problems. So this one marks the end of the first lecture. Thank you so much. So in our next lecture, we look at classification of cancer, where we look at the carcinoma, the sarcoma, and so on and so on. Otherwise, welcome. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can always